Hey, what's up? Today, I want to introduce you to a totally new way to date and give you a ton of free texting information. First, let me introduce myself. My name is Mike Masters, and here's me about a month ago cooking for a bunch of friends. Now that you know who is speaking to you, let's get right down to the free info and how I can help you. First, let me tell you a little bit about this video. It will only be up for a short time. I have never shared this much information for free before. Next, the whole point of this program is to make you amazing at creating more attraction, something we all want, right? After that, I'm going to teach you in the video the core reasons behind attraction and how they are crucial for you being successful. Finally, there are really only two concepts you need to remember. So simple, right? So what are these principles that all attraction is based on? Two core concepts. Sexual tension, the basic and only reason for attraction. Second, relationship balance, the reason why all relationships succeed or fail. And if you have an understanding of how these two concepts work, not only will texting become a breeze, but you will have incredible success face to face. Maybe you are saying to yourself, come on, is it that simple? It really is. Once you understand these core ideas, so many things make sense in the relationship world. Most explanations I have heard that use similar language only graze the tip of the iceberg. In this video, I will take you to the bottom of attraction to see what makes relationships either float or sink. You probably have no idea how much texting can influence someone's perception of you, and they probably have no idea either. Or how easy it is to create tons of attraction in texting by applying sexual tension and relationship balance. It's amazing how people get really awesome results nearly instantly, I swear. So what kind of results can you expect? Something a little like this. But seriously, most people are able to get that special person's attention immediately. They also get a ton more dates because they are interacting with people so well over text. New people are far more interested because you are creating tension. People are able to re-stimulate attraction and interest with people not showing it before. Amazingly, they can stimulate a lot more sexual attraction, even though I insist neither sex mentions sex. They become a lot better at day-to-day interactions, not only with the opposite sex, but strangely enough, even with the same sex. They learn to salvage destroyed relationships via text in a special chapter I just updated. Hey, I know it sounds crazy that texting can be this powerful, but I promise you, if you follow what I say in this video, you will see results with the opposite sex immediately. So really quick, what this program isn't. It isn't a bunch of obvious information that other texting guides sell. It isn't an old dating guide forced into a new concept of text. This isn't someone else's material plagiarized. These are my concepts from over 20 years of experience. This isn't a ridiculous get-laid quick guide, but attraction is attraction, and moving into the bedroom is a lot easier. This isn't a brainless Cosmo article written by a 22-year-old just out of high school. Okay, before we move on, let me tell you a little bit about myself. Yep, I used to be a big fatty. I still remember the day when a girl said to me, "Wow, you need a bra." Actually, obviously, this isn't me, but it's pretty much how I felt at age 12. This is me a bit later. You see, my fat trauma led me to become a nutritionist, exercise, and self-help freak, but it also made me an aggressive student of relationship psychology for the next 20 years to come. Okay, eventually I calmed down, and to my surprise, women didn't really care if I was in great shape or not, because I understood how to create heaps of attraction in all mediums. Now I'm a bit more normal and a bit older, and I'm a dating guru, although I do currently have a beautiful girlfriend in Japan. Isn't she pretty? I bet you can imagine how much we text each other in the beginning. So, why am I qualified to help you? Well, for a few years, I've run the very highly trafficked blog, MikeTheMasterDater.com. I'm a professional relationship blogger. I'm the author of 4 relationship books. I'm a public speaker. I'm a dating expert. I'm a texting expert. I have dated more than a rock star, which means I bring a ton more experience to this table to help you get what you want. Finally, I'm happy to say I have helped thousands of people worldwide understand the opposite sex and get their dating lives back on track. So can I ask you something? Is this you? Did you meet a really attractive girl or guy and things seem to have gone well, but suddenly they just stopped responding? Believe me, I know how frustrating this can be, and it's totally fixable. Maybe you met a great person online and you move things to texting, but you just don't know what to say. You feel like the whole situation is so awkward. Or maybe you're interested in creating more sexual attraction, but they aren't responding to your sexting. And I'll explain later what you can do to avoid this. Possibly, you are in a long-distance relationship, and you recently felt him or her go cold in the communication department. How do you pull their interest back to you without seeming needy? Or you text someone you were really into, you said you were into them, and it seems to have backfired on you, and you have no idea how to fix the situation. Fortunately, I have a whole chapter dedicated to this. But before we answer any of those questions, let me address the source of all attraction. Okay, pay attention. This is a big deal. Sexual tension. That's the secret. I know while most of us don't think of Kirk and Spock when we think of sexual tension, there is some truth behind this because all relationships contain tension. Now, before you focus too much on the word sex and sexual tension, let me explain a little bit more. What I mean by sexual tension is simply the positive or negative tension between a man and a woman, which usually expresses itself as attraction. Most people feel that sexual tension is a negative force because they see so much of it in the negative form, kind of like this picture. I think everyone can relate to this kind of couple, or they've been this couple. They are embroiled in anger and negative tension, and they can't seem to break away from each other. This is because there is a massive amount of tension in the negativity that leads to a massive amount of attraction. Kind of like in the movies, when you see couples fight and then have wild sex. Fun, but not a good dynamic, not something you should encourage. Here's what usually drives negative tension: jealousy, anger, physical abuse, erratic behavior. Negative tension can be a nearly overwhelming attractant, even if all common sensibilities scream otherwise. Okay, obviously I don't want to encourage this kind of attraction because neither partner can be happy long term because there is no way to sustain this relationship. It leads to resentment and disgust on both sides. So we don't want this. But before we explore this more, let's address why the person you are nuts about does not feel the same way. Okay, are you ready for this? The reason why relationships never get off the ground or fall apart is very simple, but very important. Sexual tension was never created because something was missing, like a lack of physical attraction, or the couple was too similar, or there was no commonality, they were too different. Or, in most cases, sexual tension was created, but then the balance was destroyed by too much push, or negative tension, or too much pull, positive tension. The first one is obvious, commonality and difference, but the second one is difficult, and it happens to most people. You see, the balance must be maintained, but every relationship is forced to struggle against the push and pull of negative and positive tension, but most people are unaware of it. Sexual tension that is too negative is too painful, and people leave. Sexual tension that is too positive is not exciting, and people leave. The key, of course, is to create intense attraction and then balance it, even if your target is doing their best to mess it up, and I guarantee they will be. Okay, let's address the first situation. What happens when sexual tension is not created? Too different, too similar, no physical attraction. Well, obviously, we've experienced this. Everybody's experienced this, and you've seen it many times. And even if this person is physically attractive, without something more, attraction can't occur. So here's Jill, and here's Jack, and Jill says, "Hey, you're cute. Where are you from?" And Jaku from Japan says, "I am effeminate Jaku from Japan. You are big breast." Okay, clearly there is no commonality here, and this situation will never get off the ground. So let's address this balance I keep talking about. To make it simple, let's literally put Jack and Jill on a sexual tension teeter-totter and see what happens with too much tension in either direction. So let's say Jill is feeling a little frustrated with the progression of the relationship, and she says something stupid like, "I'm tired of these games. I really like you. I want to bear your children." This is way too much, too soon for Jack, and her trying to pull him to her is actually going to have the opposite effect. So Jill is going to appear to move forward in Jack's mind, and because this is too much, he's going to back away. And you can imagine what will happen with the balance. Now here is the point where Jack will probably step off the relationship ride because the balance was ruined. Jill's side of the teeter-totter will now slam to the ground, and she will be bitter at men for a very long time. Here's the opposite. Too much negative tension or pushing tension. Jack says to Jill, "Why did you call Neil? Are you screwing him?" Now, although this tension appears to be repelling, Jack's intention is to actually bring Jill closer. So Jack has a little temper tantrum and he pulls back in order to get Jill to follow him. But in a new relationship, this is too big a move and it's going to backfire. Jill's response is appropriate, and unfortunately, this pushing move didn't bring Jill closer because it was too hard to push too soon and it destroyed the balance. And not only that, but it was based off of insecurity. So what will happen next? Well, clearly Jill's interest in the relationship will drop, and she will step off the teeter-totter. Now it will be Jack's turn to be bitter at the opposite sex for a while. Let's review why attraction and relationships fail. New relationships fail because people either pour on too much negative tension or too much positive tension, and usually this tension is related in insecurity, and it comes across as painfully weak. Longer relationships fail most often because the tension becomes polarized, with one partner all push, negative, and the other partner all pull, positive. Obviously, there are many variations of this, but the most common is the abusive boyfriend or girlfriend pushing their partner in order for them to push back, but this never works. Often relationships will start polarized, totally out of balance, with one partner negative and the other positive. And the relationship can't work because one person possesses all the power. So what do most people think? Most people are brainwashed into thinking that the only good relationships are based on 1950s positivity, and this simply isn't true. Most people believe that negative tension is avoidable, but that's impossible. Rather, we must learn to control it and use it to our positive advantage. Most people are consciously unaware of the balance and are baffled when they find themselves unconsciously repelled or attracted to another person. Most people have no idea that it is necessary for attraction to generate and control negative tension. Okay, some examples. Why Men Marry Bitches, Ignore and Score, Exploit Her Inner Psycho. All of these are books on Amazon that address the power of negative tension and the animal's subconscious need for negative tension. The Bad Boy. A good friend of mine has a great example of the bad boy in his book,